Hello, 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 hello. How's everybody doing on tonight? It is your girl Tina Renee coming to you live on this beautiful, well, I won't say beautiful, it's raining outside here in Vegas. But I'm going to wait just a little bit more while people coming in. Grab you a drink. Tonight's topic is going to be great, 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 great. Now, and I'm healing. Yes. I believe it's all behind me now. I'm laid here at the altar and I'm healing. All right, y'all. How's everybody doing on tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Healing Project. We are doing something totally different on tonight, something totally different all together. We are going to be talking about a lot of different topics, real conversations, real topics that sometimes it hurts to even talk about, right? So here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. So tonight's verse will be coming from Psalms 139, 13, and 14. Again, like I said, we're doing something totally different. I want everyone to know that comes and visit the platform that they know that this is a safe place. This is where if they have enough faith that they can receive their healing. So, Psalms 139, verses 13 to 14, it says, "For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." All right, all right, all right. Let's get on into it. So tonight's topic is called Cracked Before Birth. I know we always talk about trauma, trauma, some of the trauma that we cause upon ourselves. Sometimes we talk about the trauma from relationships or trauma, car accidents, or anything like that causes trauma upon us. But we never speak about trauma before we are actually born. We never speak about the trauma that is caused upon an unborn child in the mother's womb. God created a woman's womb to be a safe place for an unborn child to find comfort and security in that womb, right? But oftentimes, what we fail to realize is that sometimes women go through certain things in life. They're in toxic relationships. They're in relationships that they're being abused. And not knowing that while the mother is carrying the unborn child, that the child is feeling that emotion. That child is feeling that in the mother's womb. Again, the Lord had placed an unborn child in the mother's womb, and the mother's womb is supposed to be a safe haven. It's supposed to be a safe place where the unborn child resides until they are born after the ninth during the ninth month, right? So before we ever took our first breath, we were being shaped, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually. The womb was meant to be a place of safety, but for many of us it was a battlefield. So in this episode we're going to be diving into the unseen war that happens in the womb and how it can silently shape us before we are actually born, and how the trauma that we are going through in the mother's womb, how it shapes us as far as loving people, how we shaped us as trusting people, how it's also shaping us how to live. So let's talk about, what does it mean to have a broken foundation before birth? A broken foundation. So we all need a foundation, right? Even when a house being built, the house has to have a foundation, right? So there's many steps to ensure that the house is on a perfect foundation. So therefore, when you purchase your home, you know your house won't collapse on you. So you have to pour the cement, and you have the slabs and the studs and the nails and all those great things to build your home. So that's the same thing as far as a child being in the mother's womb. The child needs all these need great emotions need to be to help us to have a stable foundation. Okay, so we need love, we need nurturing in the mother's womb, right? So sometimes when a child is being born into is being carried in the mother's womb, the mother oftentimes sometimes is going through traumatic situations herself. She's trying to keep herself safe, sometimes in abusive relationships, right? Sometimes she may not have the proper nourishment. She may not have the adequate care that she needs to make sure that her child is being born or will be born healthy. So the mother's stress, the mother's trauma, and all that stuff is injected into our child. So whatever we are feeling as mothers and whatever we're dealing with as a mother, we are passing it on to our children. But yet again, we never really speak about the trauma in the womb. We always speak about the trauma as we are adults, or the childhood trauma that we experience growing up in homes that are toxic, but we never really experience, we never really talk about the trauma that is actually put upon us when we are in a mother's womb. So this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about the trauma that a child experiences in the mother's womb. Again, the emotional and the spiritual environment of the womb affects the child. So if a child is in the womb and the child is not being nurtured and the child doesn't feel the love that the child should be feeling, then when the child gets up and starts growing up, then it begins to affect their lives as far as building relationships with individuals. We don't know how to properly build and keep or maintain a relationship. For some of us don't even know how to be in a loving relationship because oftentimes we don't know how to show someone that we love them. And we hold back, or we have these walls that are built up around us that we don't allow people to come in. So it's like, a prison wall. So, you see the barbed wires and in the high gates, electric fence and stuff like that. So that's how we are sometimes in relationships. We don't want people to come in. So therefore we build these walls with these barbed wires and electric fences that we don't allow anybody to come in. And so that's what happens when we are in a womb that we don't feel safe. We are in a womb that we're not feeling nurtured. We are in a womb that we're not feeling loved. And this is what happens when we come out of the womb and then we get old enough to begin to build relationships. We get old enough to learn how to trust people. But then again, we don't know how to properly trust because why? Our mothers in the womb, when we're in our mother's womb, we've been feeling all that toxic that's going through the body. It goes from the umbilical cord to the child. Okay, so